Good morning, I'm Wendy Burke, and this is the CBC Morning Report for Tuesday, November 30th. Happy Independence Day. In our top story, Barbados is now a republic, replacing the British monarch as its head of state and severing its last remaining colonial bonds. Queen Elizabeth II was officially removed as Barbados's head of state and became a republic in an overnight ceremony. The new republic was born to the cheers of hundreds of people around Heroes Square, coinciding with the country's 55th anniversary of independence. After a dazzling display of Barbadian dance and music, complete with speeches celebrating the end of colonialism, Her Excellency the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as Barbados's first president.
As the President of Barbados, your President, I charge and call our country Barbados and all its people to personal and national excellence and greatness. We are Barbadians. We, the people, must give Republic Barbados its spirit and its substance. We must shape its future. We are each other's and our nation's keepers. We, the people, are Barbados. Vessel Republic Barbados now leaves port. For this and all the journeys hereafter, let us hold fast to the traditional values that have served us well. Let us craft new ideas and ideals. Let us set our aspirations higher, and let us by word and deed so conduct ourselves that the lights on this ship will shine brightly and allow our country and our citizens to be seen across the world.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley was among other officials who swore allegiance to Barbados. In her speech, Prime Minister Mottley announced that pop star Rihanna will be named a national hero this morning.
Commanding the imagination of the world through the pursuit of excellence, with her creativity, her discipline, and above all else, her extraordinary commitment to the land of her birth. Pursuant to Clause B of the schedule, and having satisfied that Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty has given service to Barbados which has been exemplified by visionary and pioneering leadership, extraordinary achievement, and the attainment of the highest excellence that has redounded to the honor of Barbados, my government has the distinct honor of recommending to the President, who has kindly and graciously accepted, that Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty tomorrow morning shall have conferred upon her the Order of National Hero of Barbados.
Speaking as the guest of honor at the event, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, reiterated the continuing ties between the two nations despite the constitutional status change.
In recent years, it has meant a great deal to me to have worked alongside your government to help address the challenges facing small island states like yours, not least the existential threat posed by climate change and global warming. I have also taken great pride in the work my Prince's Trust International has done in Barbados to create opportunity for young people through training and employment, and to help them fulfill their remarkable potential. In these ways and many more, I remain deeply committed to this very special country and to your future prosperity and well-being. I shall always consider myself a friend of Barbados.
Barbados's first president heads the awards list of national honors for Independence Day 2021. The list was released minutes before Barbados transitioned to a republic last night. CBC's Mark Seal reports.
The Order of Freedom of Barbados.
Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason, has received the country's highest national honor. That's the Order of the Freedom of Barbados, which is for outstanding and extraordinary achievement and merit in service to Barbados and humanity at large. The honor has been conferred for becoming the first president of Barbados in light of the transition into Republican status. The other recipients include His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. He receives an honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados in recognition of his support for the efforts of developing countries in the area of climate change and sustainable development, and fostering the spirit of entrepreneurship among young people globally. The COVID-19 leadership team shared, led by Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostick, and including Chair of the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19, Senator Dr. the Honorable Jerome Walcott, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George, Head of Isolation Facilities Dr. Corey A. Ford, Director of the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory Dr. Sanji Beckles, Permanent Secretary, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jeanette Phillips, and Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Elise Jordan, for their committed, untiring, and outstanding leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. Also receiving the honor, Chairman of the Barbados Port Incorporated, Peter Odell, in recognition of his committed and outstanding contribution to tourism and the hospitality sectors and civic duties. Barbados and West Indies cricket legend Desmond Haynes, in recognition of his outstanding achievement as an international cricketer, representing Barbados and the West Indies with high distinction as one of the finest opening batsmen the game has ever seen. Bertram Hall, for outstanding contribution to commercial activity in Barbados in the retail food sector. And former multi-calypso king of Barbados, Stetson Red Plastic Bag Wiltshire, in recognition of his enduring contribution to music, the arts, entertainment, and culture in Barbados and internationally. Mark Seal for the Morning Report.
Next on CBC Morning Report, updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. The emergence of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has the world closing its borders and placing travel restrictions in place for fear of transmission. Local health authorities are keeping a tight eye on things to determine the way forward. The Morning Report reached out to virologist Dr. Brendan Larder to look at the variant and discuss the concerns surrounding it. Good morning to you, Dr. Larder.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Now, this new variant is being described as what is called a super mutation of sorts. Exactly what makes it this?
Well, firstly, we should congratulate the South African scientists who rapidly identified this variant and reported it to the world. They've done the world a real service. Now, what makes it important is that it seems to be a a beefed up blend of the old alpha variant and the beta variant, making it be able to potentially spread faster, which are the attributes of the alpha variant, and also potentially evade the immune system and perhaps vaccines as well, which was attributes of the beta variant. But more importantly, there's a whole bunch of mutations in the spike protein in the area where we know that the immune responses take place to prevent virus from binding to our cells, which are very worrisome and point to the fact that this virus might be able to evade our vaccines and the immune system to a certain degree. But really, we don't know. Those experiments are being conducted at the moment to try and find out for sure.
Okay, now the name Omicron, you know, we were talking about it recently, and we discovered like there's actually a transformer, you know, by that name. How did they come up with that name? And it sounds quite ominous when you hear it, to be honest.
It does, but I think it was just one of the other letters in the Greek alphabet that they came across, and that's how it's got named, like alpha, beta, delta, gamma, etc., mu, lambda. I don't think it was meant to sound ominous.
Okay, because what I'm wondering is, in terms of its makeup and all of these spike proteins, I mean, and yes, we do need to congratulate the South African scientists, but what in its makeup should we be fearing the most? Because I'm wondering if the everyday health protocols that we're encouraged to practice will help to control that in any way.
Well, I think I would hope that they should do, but the things that we should really be looking out for are whether the virus is more infectious than Delta and whether it can evade vaccines and immunity more than Delta. Now, one of the key mutations in the spike protein gene of this new variant is a signature deletion, and it means that the standard PCR test that we use, or certainly a slight variation of that, could be used very quickly and very efficiently to identify this new variant, or certainly to give us a very clear idea of if it's around, without having to go through the process of genetic sequencing, which takes time and is more expensive, etc. So I would hope that Sonji Beckles at the Best of Santos and her colleagues are instigating this test, which is called S-gene dropout, to be able to manage the infection, to identify if any of this virus gets into Barbados, and to quickly identify infected people and to isolate them to stop it spreading.
Okay, now that is a test that is done strictly at the lab or on individuals?
It's the standard swabbing test that then goes to the lab, and it's a variation of the standard PCR test that's already being carried out now in the lab, just using an extra probe in that test, which is something I actually discussed with Sonji back in, I guess, February, when we were talking about identification of the alpha variant. But this test works in exactly the same way and could be very rapid and very useful in quickly identifying any individual who may be infected with the Omicron variant.
Okay, now within a week of its discovery, we had it spreading to various countries, and we're already seeing some countries getting into protectionist mode where they're closing borders, banning travel. Is that necessarily the best way to go for now, to keep it under control until we know more?
Well, I think countries are being very cautious. There are two things that are going on. One is that the vaccination and boosting campaigns are being really ramped up, and particularly in the UK, there's a big scramble now to boost all over 18-year-olds. And I would think that one of the sensible things to do is for anybody in Barbados who hasn't been vaccinated is to get vaccinated. People who've been vaccinated and in fact their immunity may be waning, to get that boosted. And secondly, controls. Well, border controls are really down to governments, and it's not really clear at the moment how dangerous or potentially dangerous this variant is going to be. And as I said, some countries are being cautious, others are making sure that they have the tools to very rapidly identify if this variant gets into their country, so they can isolate people and do mass surge testing around where those people have been identified to basically squash the infection very quickly.
Okay, now my final question to you is, does the Omicron impact our immune system any differently to some of the other variants? Like, say, for example, moving to a ventilator, are we sure that, you know, against that you're gonna survive? What can we actually say in terms of being able to protect ourselves?
Well, the short answer in terms of the pathogenesis of the virus is we really don't know anything at all. Early reports coming out of South Africa have said that people who have been found to be infected with this virus have mild symptoms, but these have generally been younger people who would have mild symptoms usually anyway with the coronavirus infection. The simple answer is we just don't know, and I think we just have to take the precautions that we're all taking at the moment and step up testing and possibly institute the S-gene dropout test as well to identify potential individuals infected with Omicron.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Larder. Always good to hear from you, and thanks for looking out for our nation in terms of your specialty. Do have a wonderful morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Barbados has recorded 3 more COVID-19 related deaths, bringing the death toll to 228. All of the cases were women. The first victim was 61 years old. She died at the Accident and Emergency Department of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on November the 26th, while a 94-year-old woman passed away on November 27th, also at the AED. Both were unvaccinated. The third casualty is a 70-year-old woman who died at the Harrison Point Isolation Facility on November the 28th. She was partially vaccinated. 114 new cases of COVID-19 have been recorded by the Bastos Santos Public Health Lab. 26 individuals were under the age of 18. There are 463 people in isolation facilities and 2,734 in home isolation. To date, 136,750 people are fully vaccinated. And we'll go to commercial break now. Card shopping in Barbados will move to first world status from tomorrow, December 1st. And it's being called a coming of age by President of the Bankers Association of Barbados, Anthony Clark. The managing director of the Republic Bank tells CBC News that the new system brings with it a number of new things.
One of the major features really is the card will facilitate e-commerce, online shopping, online payments, both locally and internationally. So, shopping online before would have probably needed a credit card, and not everyone may have had access to a credit card, but everybody has access to a debit card. So you can now use that card to pay online, either locally or if you're shopping online internationally. So those are some of the benefits. I think it's a good thing. We kind of coming of age. We're improving the functionality of the card, so that's good for the average Bajan. In terms of businesses, I guess the one improved functionality, what I've just described, comes at a cost. We can't continue to have this low cost card, which was really low cost and had been around since the 90s because it didn't have the suite of functionality.
The Bankers Association official says under the new system, charges for point-of-sale transactions will be a thing of the past.
They would no longer be paying for point-of-sale transactions, whereas point-of-sale transactions ranged under the Caris network to $2 a transaction. That the banks took a decision along with the central bank to remove that fee to cardholders. So when you use your card at a point-of-sale merchant, you would not have to pay a transaction fee. So that's good for the merchants as well, for the cardholders as well.
Barbados bid farewell to Sir Charles Williams. Barbados bid farewell to Sir Charles Williams yesterday. The construction tycoon and businessman was remembered as the pioneer who moved the earth to please while transforming Barbados's physical infrastructure. CBC's Aaliyah Briggs has more.
Barbadian construction magnate, the late Sir Charles "Cow" Williams, is being remembered as a nation builder and a fine example of Barbados's motto, pride and industry. His memory and legacy were celebrated during a funeral ceremony at the St. James Parish Church. Sir Charles Williams and his company, C.O. Williams Construction, are credited with many of the major capital works projects which have transformed the Barbadian landscape. Brother Ralph "Busy" Williams, in his eulogy, reflected on his brother's journey from Bajan farm boy to earth mover to being knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. He described Sir Charles as an astute businessman and a risk-taker who successfully transformed Warrens from acres of sugarcane fields to a commercial business hub.
I am sure, with God's guidance and endless guts and hard work, he earned the money, paid for the estate, and moved C.O. Williams Construction to Warrens. Then he, together with me and Mickey Hutchinson, who was his accountant and financial controller at the time, presented his vision to what Warrens could become to Prime Minister Tom Adams. The Prime Minister was convinced, the route of the highway was set, and the rest is history.
Sir Charles also spearheaded numerous residential projects and business ventures in Barbados and across the Caribbean. Sir Richard Cheltenham says Sir Charles will be remembered for his consistently high-quality output as he moved the earth to please.
A mention has been made of the roads, bridges and ports which he built, including our own Spring Garden and the ABC Highway. And not to be overlooked is his contribution to high-end property developments like Port St. Charles, Millennium Heights and Apes Hill. It would be given to few men to stamp their mark on the environment around them in the enduring way Sir Charles has done.
While delivering remarks virtually, Prime Minister Mia Motley says despite amassing tremendous wealth over the years, Sir Charles and his company were dedicated to empowering Barbadian communities.
Sir Charles was in the business of making money, yes. But when he spoke of his projects, his dreams, his plans, it was always in terms of how many jobs they would create and how much foreign exchange it would earn and how the society would benefit. And that came, I believe, from walking the journey of independence, which was effectively the journey of his adult life. He was all about Barbados. He was about the welfare of Barbadians.
The funeral procession passed C.O. Williams Construction in Leers before heading to the St. John Parish Church Cemetery for the burial. Sir Charles leaves to mourn wife Marianne Williams and 3 children. Aaliyah Briggs, CBC News.
A 3-day special session of the World Health Assembly kicked off yesterday to discuss pandemic preparedness and response amid concerns about the spread of the new Omicron variant. The WHO normally meets in May, but a special session was called for in a decision adopted by the World Health Organization member states.
Well, the UN Secretary-General has made it quite clear that he believes that travel bans are not the way forward. His spokesperson making it clear that South Africa had done great work in finding this new variant, and there shouldn't be collective punishment of South Africa and its neighbours in Southern Africa. He firmly put his weight behind the World Health Organization's statement, or position, with this statement which was read out a short time ago.
The Secretary-General said he is now deeply concerned about the isolation of southern African countries due to new COVID-19 travel restrictions. As he and others have long warned, low vaccination rates are a breeding ground for variants. The people of Africa cannot be blamed for the immorally low level of vaccinations available on the continent, and they should not be penalized for identifying and sharing crucial science and health information with the world. The Secretary-General appeals to all governments to consider repeated testing for travelers, together with other appropriate and truly effective measures, with the objective of avoiding the risk of transmission so as to allow for travel and economic engagement.
Now, the Secretary-General has also made it clear in the past that wartime logic should be brought in to the discussions of COVID-19 in order to deal with the virus and with this new variant. I asked his spokesperson about that and whether now, if you need a new vaccine, or at least the existing vaccines need to be adjusted and adapted because of the new variant, whether the pharmaceutical companies should share the licensing of those vaccines and allow laboratories across the world to produce the vaccine. And he said that yes, the Secretary-General strongly supported that sort of move by the pharmaceutical companies, a move they've resisted until this point. It's also worth pointing out that the Secretary-General of the United Nations is a strong advocate of the WHO's view on vaccination around the world and the target the WHO set, which was for 40% of people in the world to be vaccinated by the end of this year and 70% by the end of 2022, and he made it clear, the spokesperson, that we're nowhere near the target for the end of this year.
In sports, it's day 2 of the first test, West Indies versus Sri Lanka in Galle. The current score, West Indies are 69-1, with Jermaine Blackwood having been that wicket loss. At the crease now are Craig Brathwaite and Kuma Bonner. Brathwaite is on 22 and Bonner with 1 run. Sri Lanka 204. It's time now for a look at our weather picture. What's it going to be like on this Independence Day? Right now it is fair, 26.2 degrees Celsius, and it feels like 29. The humidity stands at 89%. And the barometric pressure 1012.4 millibars. The winds are from the east at 26 kilometers per hour. Low tide will be at 6:56 p.m. and high tide at 12:30 p.m. The seas are moderate in open water with swells ranging from 1.5 to 2 meters and increasing. In Barbados, the forecast for today, a mix of sunshine and clouds with occasional brief scattered light to moderate showers. Tonight is expected to be a mix of clear skies and clouds with the occasional brief scattered light to moderate showers. Over in the Lesser Antilles, today and tonight, it will be partly cloudy to cloudy at times with occasional light to moderate brief scattered showers. Here's now a look at our international cities. And there's no Pearson Boyne this morning. I'm standing in for you for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you, and I'm Wendy Burke. Happy Independence Day to all in the Republic of Barbados. Now, this morning, we're going to be reflecting on all the things that have led us to this role today in that of a republic. There have been a lot of celebrations. We started from Sunday with giving thanks to God with a multinational service. Now, outside of the service, we also saw the official opening of the Golden Square Freedom Park that happened in the center of the city, and it was something to behold. Along with that, we had some celebrations on the water, where there was a flotilla where all of Barbados's marine vessels were on water, displaying themselves in all their splendor and all their glory. It was the Coast Guard, the Barbados Police Force now, or the Barbados Police Service, along with a number of private water sports operators and other demonstrations on the water. Now, in Barbados coming to its road on the path to a republic, we also had a situation where we received thanks from across the globe. In fact, Brazil went a step further when they lit one of their most popular statues, the famous Christ the Redeemer, in the city of Rio de Janeiro in our national colors in celebration of our 55th anniversary of independence and to mark our transition to a republic. We want to say thank you so much, Brazil, for that sentiment and celebrating with us. Now, we are at the point we wanted to reach last night when we were officially declared a republic. We saw the declaration of the republic and the installation of the president, Dame Sandra Mason. Along with Dame Sandra, we also had a special guest. The Prince of Wales, Sir Prince Charles, was here on a special visit as our special guest for the inauguration and to see us usher in Barbados as a republic, breaking our ties from the monarchy.
And to your future prosperity and well-being. I shall always consider myself a friend of Barbados. Madam President, Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, tonight you write the next chapter of your nation's story, adding to the treasury of past achievement, collective enterprise and personal courage which already fill its pages. Yours is a story in which every Barbadian, young and old, can take the greatest pride, inspired by what has come before them and confident about what lies ahead. As we will sing tonight, you are the guardians of your heritage, firm craftsmen of your fate.
His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, will now be conferred with the Order of Freedom of Barbados by Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason, President of Barbados.
Received his honors. We also had Dame Sandra, who received Barbados's highest honor as well as our first president. She took the declaration and took an oath, and she told us what she has in sight for Barbados as a republic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Dame Sandra Prunella Mason, President of Barbados. President will now receive the Order of Freedom of Barbados. Ladies
Yes, and that was Dame Sandra receiving her medal there, Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, Barbados's president in this our republic. Let's give thanks for that. Now, we also would have had the Prince Charles, as you would have seen him, as well as the Prime Minister. But one special thing that happened was that Barbados received a new national hero in international songbird, Rihanna.
On behalf of a grateful nation, but an even prouder people, we therefore present to you the designee for National Hero of Barbados, Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty. May you continue to shine like a diamond and bring honor to your nation by your words, by your actions, and to do credit wherever you shall go. God bless you, my dear. Thank you.
Those national independence honors will occur a little later this morning, sometime around 8. So you can tune in and you'll get to see exactly who will be awarded and rewarded for their duty and service to this our republic, Barbados. Now we are enjoying this as we are in our new season. It's Independence Day. We're all having a great time. And we're standing by to hear from you, the members of the public, about how you feel about our republic. Remember, our call number is 228-5562, 228-5563. And you'll have a chance to tell us how you feel waking up this morning in the Republic of Barbados.
They wanna know. What? A little louder for the people in the back.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Barbados. Now, we would have been on the streets early because these celebrations have been planned and ongoing for some time. And we got a chance to hear from the public what their views are on Barbados as a republic.
I'm from Guyana, and we're an independent country. And as a visitor here, Barbados is a beautiful place. And I think you got to do what's best for the people of the country. And as a leader, you got to make the right decision. And if that is the right decision, I say go for it.
It could be a stepping stone for Barbados, as it is. Most of the major countries in the Caribbean have already gone republic, which would be Trinidad, I think Dominican Republic. There are a few others, but I guess as time goes on, we will see how we progress, if it's going to benefit us as a stepping stone within the Caribbean, as one of the leading Caribbean countries. I would like to see a much more boost in the economy, and as a parent looking at the next generation, I would like to see how the next generation and the children will progress and benefit in the long run.
It's very good that we're going to the Republic. We got our own status. We could do exactly a little limited more than we could do before on the Queen. The Barbados society will got accept because it's going to be very challenging in the first year or two.
Well, it's something new that going on, so I have no problem with it at all. I left the Prime Minister's hand. She knows what she's doing. And a politician that just listen and follow. That's all I can say.
God bless all of us. I don't know how it's going to be, but we gotta live and survive in anything. So that's my point.
And that's the man on the street. Now it's time to hear those on our phone lines. Good morning and welcome to Morning Barbados.
I don't have a problem with the country being a republic now, but I do not agree with persons bashing the Queen when her son is giving good accolades about the country. But that is my view on it.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Let's hear from you. 228-5562, 228-5563. How do you feel about us now we are officially a republic? Yes. What does it mean? There's not much that's going to change in the country. We would have gotten rid of some of the insignia which represents the British crown. You would have seen the consecration of new colors for the Barbados Regiment and the Barbados Coast Guard. Because it's time Barbados stands on its own. We've heard time and time again that we punch above our weight. We've seen it demonstrated on the international stage. And people have also been commenting on social media about the Republic. A number of Barbadians have weighed in, many of them saying, yes, we can stand on our own. And we have also been told by the Prince himself that the relationship between Barbados and England will remain the same. The British monarchy still sees us as a friend and will always view us in that way, according to the Prince. He received one of our honors last night, and those relations are going to continue. We've heard from our High Commission. They've spoken to the fact that trade relations will still continue. What changes is the fact that we no longer have Her Majesty or Royal preceding any of the names of our services or institutions, and the crown is no more displayed on our national insignia and markers. Good morning. Okay. Now, I'm not sure how many of you made your way down to the Independence Square last night or Heroes Square to take it in firsthand, but there were quite a few people who we would have seen enjoying themselves in place. We had great musicianship on display. We saw the likes of Dr. Nicholas Branker and a host of others. We saw the performers in terms of the dancers, the drummers, the steel pan. It was exciting, it was thrilling, and we all joined hands to show not only that we love Barbados, not only that we're happy in our 55th year. Good morning to you, and welcome to Morning Barbados and happy independence.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Go right ahead.
Hi. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to say I think this is probably in the right direction. As most of the other folks said before, only people tell how we manage the direction we go. People say same, different path. That might have validity. I would like to see some of the what we portray, the what do you call it? Like with the president's flag and so on. Some of those different little things that look like we still have a little bit of links to the past. Maybe we can adjust some of those that we can actually, that we are completely walking away. You know, some little elements still look, if we still hold on a little bit, if we could adjust, maybe we can continue going forward and keep praying for the leader, because it's really an easy decision. It's hard sometimes. People could say wrong, but when you're actually sitting in this, it'd be a different story. But
Now, when you said change some things on the flag that we still seem to be connected, we have changed the colors of our regiment and our Coast Guard.
Okay. The flag was very fleeting when I saw it last, and it looked like it was the cross in George that was the president's flag. That's right.
It looked as though it had the cross of St. George's colors, you're saying?
Yeah. You know, the red with the
Okay.
So I was just thinking those types of elements mean the idea is that we move from the colonial representation into our own. I mean, we've always been independent. There's nothing to me. We are independent full stop. It's just some of the laws that would govern how we go forward.
Okay.
I don't feel any different today. It's just as time goes on, move all the time is going, and try to embrace what we can accept and what we don't. We really.
Okay. As we do in life. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Barbados celebrating 55 years of independence, and they're proud now to become a republic. It happened officially last night, and that's where we are. And today we will see some more honors coming forward because we will be rewarding a number of people for their service to this island. 166 square miles we are, but proud and punching above our weight. Good morning to you.
Happy Independence Republic. My wish for my country, because don't care where I go, I'll always be a Bajan. I wish all the creator blessings upon this country and success in everything that we go to do. I am pleased with the Prime Minister where she invited Prince Charles. And for me, it is love, it's sure love. And that is what the Bible told us. Don't do bad against those who do you wrong. So I wish them all God's blessings, and that we will continue to be with England, because I am a product of my family going to England, and I had the best to wear through them, and through the pounds, my family was able to survive. And I have a lot of relatives back here now that through Mrs. Thatcher, they were able to get their money to come home to build homes on this rock. Thank you very much, and God bless Barbados. Happy Independence.
Happy Independence to you too, and thank you for your blessings. We'll take a break on Morning Barbados and be right back to talk about more Republic things. Yes, and we're back on Morning Barbados, celebrating our 55th anniversary of independence as well as becoming a republic. Now, some of the things we have to be proud of are things that are Bajan, elements of Barbadiana. And one such element this morning is actually a local makeup line. And it's in honor of a young Barbadian who would have passed away. Beauty by Nikki. It was visualized by from a young age by the late Nicole Nikki King. She was always one to demonstrate sharp business acumen. She sought beauty in everyone and everything with whom she came into contact. She envisioned a company that sought to embody the elegance, glamour, and allure of women. Although she passed at an early age, her legacy lives on. And it's a tribute to her passion and dedication that we now have Beauty by Nikki being created. I want to say good morning to Shari Flats, who is the manager at Beauty by Nikki. Good morning to you, Shari. Yes. Yes, good morning. Yes, now this is actually a Barbadian brand, and they have done something called a 246 palette. Every color is dedicated to Barbados, and it features a color within our flag and the brilliance of what our nation stands for. Now, the brand's goal is to honor Nikki's memory by empowering and inspiring women to recognize that they too can fulfill their dreams. And that's one of the things we're going to be looking to do within the Republic, to empower our citizens, show them the power of entrepreneurship, and that you can achieve basically whatever you want to once you set your mind to it. Now, the good thing about this brand, Beauty by Nikki, is that they have a philanthropic spirit. And since the untimely passing of the young lady, they have been awarding scholarships toward those at her alma mater, Combermere, and now they're on to another part of the vision that she would have left behind in the makeup line. And they're going to be doing so many things. Everything within that line, within that beauty line, is all about Barbados. So, Sherry, I think we've tidied up those little technical hitches now. Good morning to you again, and happy independence.
Hi,
yes.
Thank you.
Now, you're looking brilliant. I guess that's because you are in your 246 palette colors as well.
Yes, I am.
All righty. Now, let's talk a bit about this palette and what exactly we're looking to achieve, not only in terms of a look, but in terms of empowering our young women, not only in terms of when they have the makeup on, but also in terms of being artists affiliated with the product.
Well, using the 246 palette, we want to encapsulate all things Bajan. So we have actually aligned ourselves with some local makeup artists that you can actually go to and get your look using our palette here in Barbados. And we try to encapsulate all those different images, sizes, shapes, tones of beauty in Barbados. And we want the women to feel confident when they use this palette, to feel that they're powerful and they're representing Barbados using all the shades.
Now tell me a bit about some of the colors and what they represent.
Okay, so I'm going to hold the palette up for you. And we have, as you can see here.
Before you show me the colors, I want you to show me the box and the beauty of it.
Yes, yes, please. So this is the cover.
246.
246.
We all know our area code.
And this is the box. All the colors is very tropical. It's very specific and focused on everything Bajan.
Yes.
And we have the beautiful 246 here at the front. And then at the back, we have all the colors with their names.
Yes. Good. So let's talk about these colors.
Yeah, so we have some sunbeam yellow. We have Glitter Beach Gold, which represents the gold in our flag. We have 246 Sparkle. We have a beautiful Independence Blue. We have East Coast Blue to represent that gorgeous East Coast sea that we have. We have the beige sky, and we have Clay Nude, which is a transitional shade. And we also have Sea Blue Glimmer as well for those women who love to have some glitter on their eyes. We are representing all types here.
Okay, and I understand that that clay color, that nude, is about where Nikki and her family would have been from. So each and everything is testimony to her and who she was and what she stood for.
Yes, please. She came from Chalky Mount St. Andrew, and we really wanted to dedicate some of our products to that particular place where she came from. So therefore, we have Clay Nude in the 246 palette that represents that. And we also have another product, which we're going to talk about, that also represents Chalky Mount.
Okay, well, let's get right into it.
Okay, good. So we have a lip kit collection, and that lip kit collection has 3 sections. We have the Goddess collection, we have the Warrior collection, and we also have the Glitter Gloss collection. And those 3 sections, they are formed of a lip kit because we saw a lack of product where you can actually match a lipstick with a lip line. You couldn't get the 2. So we thought, okay, let's bring these 2 concepts together and offer this to women so that they can actually have a product where they can have a lipstick or a lip gloss and have the liner to go with it. So we created these 3 collections, which will be available to women, and they will not have to worry about finding the perfect lip liner to go with the lip gloss or lip kit. So we have the Warrior, the Glitter Gloss, and we have the Goddess.
Okay, and I understand too the names of the products are also very Bajan. Like we have the $5 bill. We're talking about our various hibiscus flowers. Tell me a bit more, because it seems very and sounds very exciting, colorful, and truly Bajan.
Yes, we have Bajan Cherry, we have Pink Camellia, we have Purple Bougainvillea, we have Chalky Mount Clay, we have Hibiscus, and we have, oh, the beautiful picture there. You have the Purple Bougainvillea, we have Desirable in the Warrior collection, we have Magnetic, Iconic, Fearless, and Exclusive, and we have different shades that really are truly testament to everything Bajan.
Okay, now you'd mentioned before that you have some local artists, and one of the things that Nikki's family is looking to do is to encourage other young women to step out as entrepreneurs and be able to manage and handle their business. So you're one of those artists that's on board as well. So tell me how it is for you.
Well, it's quite amazing actually, because it's helped me to develop my business acumen. I'm exposed to very talented artists here in Barbados. We did a photo shoot not too long ago, which you guys are going to see shortly, and we utilized the talents in Barbados that I did not even know we had. We met so much amazing makeup artists, clothes designers, photographers, and it has really broadened my perspective of the amount of talent that we have here in Barbados, and it also allows us to really align our brand with Barbados so we can really push the Barbadian aspect of our collection.
Okay, so tell us your final takeaways and where I can go or anybody else can go to get a piece of this 246.
Okay, well, you can contact us on WhatsApp at 831-5606. You can also go to our Instagram, Beauty by Nikki Shop 246, and we also have a website where you can actually go to look at our products. You can see the photos and videos from our upcoming photo shoot. We have beautybynikki.shop. And you can also look out for our foundation, our blender brushes, our bronzers, are also offering master classes for women in makeup by celebrity makeup artists shortly. And we're also going to launch all of those foundations, blender brushes, and everything in 2022.
Okay, well, good luck to you and your business. And here's thanking you for keeping Nikki's memory alive and helping to empower other young women, Shari. That's Shari Flats, the manager of Beauty by Nikki. Well, it's time now to go to break. And when we come back, we will be looking at some more issues and a little bit of news. We'll be back in a bit.
This paradise that I call home, I'll cherish it down to my bones. Down in my
audio.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Barbados is now a republic, replacing the British monarch as its head of state and severing its last remaining colonial bonds. Queen Elizabeth II was officially removed as Barbados's head of state and became a republic in an overnight ceremony. The new republic was born to the cheers of hundreds of people around Heroes Square, coinciding with the country's 55th anniversary of independence. After a dazzling display of Barbadian dance and music, complete with speeches celebrating the end of colonialism, Her Excellency the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as Barbados's first president.
As the President of Barbados, your President, I charge and call our country Barbados and all its people to personal and national excellence and greatness. We are Barbadians. We, the people, must give Republic Barbados its spirit and its substance. We must shape its future. We are each other's and our nation's keepers. We, the people, are Barbados. Vessel Republic Barbados now leaves port. For this and all the journeys hereafter, let us hold fast to the traditional values that have served us well. Let us craft new ideas and ideals. Let us set our aspirations higher, and let us by word and deed so conduct ourselves that the lights on this ship will shine brightly and allow our country and our citizens to be seen across the world.
Was among other officials who swore allegiance to Barbados. In her speech, Prime Minister Motley announced that pop star Rihanna will be named a national hero this morning.
Commanding the imagination of the world through the pursuit of excellence. With her creativity, her discipline, and above all else, her extraordinary commitment to the land of her birth. Pursuant to Clause B of the schedule, and having satisfied that Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty has given service to Barbados which has been exemplified by visionary and pioneering leadership, extraordinary achievement, and the attainment of the highest excellence that has redounded to the honor of Barbados, my government has the distinct honor of recommending to the President, who has kindly and graciously accepted that Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty tomorrow morning shall have conferred upon her the Order of National Hero of Barbados.
Well, congratulations to our very own Rihanna. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll hear what the young people of this nation think about Barbados becoming a republic.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. We will be taking a look at the youth's perspective on Barbados becoming a republic. And to take us through with that is Mr. Khalil Kofdawala, who's no stranger to the program. He's a student advocate. Good morning to you, Khalil.
Good morning, Wendy. Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Thank you for agreeing to be here with us at this early hour of the morning. Now, let's look at it straight out. What do you think about Barbados becoming a republic?
Well, to be honest with you, Wendy, oftentimes when you have the call to say good morning to someone, you say it because you have to. It is a social grace. But this morning is not a good morning. I don't even think it is a great morning. But it has to be one of the proudest mornings for any Barbadian anywhere in the world. Because today is our very first day, as you mentioned, as in this new Republican status. And the president, in her maiden speech last night, captured it well in terms of the everlasting pursuit of excellence of Barbados and Barbadians. And we can only ever truly pursue excellence if we believe in our own ability to achieve it. And we can only truly believe in our own ability to achieve it when we have said, not only to ourselves, but to the rest of the world, that we are fully and entirely capable of charting our own destiny. And so that every event that has led us to this point throughout our history, the events that were planned over the last few days, they have all been moving reminders of what it means to be Barbadian. But they have also been moving reminders of the work that still remains that each of us must do if we want this to be the very best country that it can be. And that work ultimately lies with each and every one of us.
Because that was going to be my question to you now. How do you see that position of excellence being achieved? And what are some of your expectations for us as a people within this Republican status?
So that we will definitely use this as the impetus necessary to we all have our challenges all over the world, and so that we will use this moment as impetus to solve some of the niggleish issues that continue to confront us. Whether that is certainly so that today, for example, I have made the analogy on several occasions that we now are fully in charge of our own nation. We are now in a position to be entirely and completely proud of our country and its entire constitutional structure. And so I would hope that as part of that pride, that we would, for example, think twice about things like littering. Because the reality is that this country now, as a republic, belongs to each and every single one of us. And that in the same way that we would not, for example, throw down a piece of wrapper or whatever in our home, each of us are shareholders in this Barbados. And so that whether it is something as simple as littering, whether it is something much more significant in the grand scheme of things, it means that we will, each of us, commit not only to Barbados, not only to excellence, but that means necessarily that we will commit to each other, and to ensuring that we live in a society in which each and every single person has a certain basic level and standard of living, and that we will not feel comfortable until everyone does. Those are the kinds of things that we ought now to be able, without excuse. We should have felt them before, but certainly there's no excuse today and moving forward for not feeling this way.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that it has to be a collective type of responsibility, because that is one of the areas which the Barbados Charter speaks to. The fact that we need basically to be each other's keeper, that we need to look at the issues related to the youth, related to the elderly, related to the disabled, and that we all show that level of mutual respect and care for each other, for community, for environment, because you mentioned the whole issue of littering and cleanliness and that type of thing. And the Charter speaks to all of those things. What are your views on the Barbados Charter?
The document does what it has been set out to do, in that it is meant to represent who we are as Barbadians. Who we are as Barbadians is diverse, so that we are not a homogenous people. There are people of all different distinctions, but equally people who have much more common characteristics than they have distinctions. And the Charter attempts to capture the both of them, in that it is a visionary document that sets out, as you mentioned, a respect for each other in all of those in all of those areas, regardless of those differences, but at the same time commits all of us to a certain baseline. I say it is a baseline. It's not even the highest that we can go, but it commits all of us to a baseline of what we must now do in this new Republic Barbados. So it strikes wonderfully the balance between the diversity, but also the inherent commonality that exists between all of us as Barbadians, because as I have continued to say, to be Barbadian must mean that we are committed to excellence, that we are committed to each other, and that we are committed to Barbados. And that is what the Charter, that is certainly what the Charter sets out in written word.
I want to take you up on that point you raised about us being different, but intrinsically all the same. Yes? And as a young person, we sometimes seek to differentiate young people. Say someone like yourself as a youth advocate versus, say, maybe the boys on the block, and we think that you're also different, but your needs and your aspirations are the same. It's just you may go about it differently, or you might seek out other forms of socialization. For you in a republic state, where do you want to see our young people go? Where do you want to see them aspire to? And how do you see them bringing about that position of excellence?
I first and foremost, as I said yesterday, that we must first ensure that we never make the tragic mistake of discarding any of our young people. Because people have not worked to bring other people into this world for us then as a society to discard them. And that must be at all times the starting point. From there, we must ensure that all of our young people have an intense appreciation for this country, for the struggles of this country. And we can only do that through ensuring that no child leaves school without having been taught a certain course of history, without having been taught a course of civics. to ensure that we have the basic fundamentals of citizenship right. But then beyond that, we must also ensure that we are funneling children into areas where they have an aptitude, so that then they are not disadvantaged. Again, to say what I said yesterday, it would be inconceivable for us to judge a basket of apples on orange criteria. And sometimes we like to do that in our own society. And that is one of the things that we must now rectify within ourselves in this new Republic Barbados, so that we might in fact experience the highest manifestation of what this country can be. And equally, not only must we create an opportunity of an environment, of unbridled opportunity for our young people, but at the same time, we as young people must understand our own responsibilities in relation to the opportunity that we already have been given, and certainly the increased opportunities that we would want to be afforded to young people. And so we must always be able to be in a position to strike the balance.
I'm glad you went there, because that was going to be my next question to you. That you're telling me what you want for us as a society to give to our youth, but ensuring that our young people understand that they too have to give back, because sometimes we're sensing threads and elements of ingratitude throughout our society, and our young people, basically thinking that they're entitled because I have birthed you, I have no other choice. But you all well know we all have responsibilities, yes?
Indeed. And that certainly is another aspect that the Charter gets right in terms of balancing rights and responsibilities. These days during COVID, we have begun to talk a lot about rights, and everyone has these rights and so on, but that each of those rights must be exercised with a certain level of responsibility, because without that, then we begin to infringe upon other people and their rights, and that then is not a society. That is an anarchical state, that we would be moving from a monarchical state to an anarchical state. And we must always guard against that. So that Barbados has always been known for its stability. It has always been known for the camaraderie of its people. We are not riven by sectarian division or anything like that. And that is only able to be achieved because we have that sense of responsibility to each other and to our country, and that long may that continue.
Okay, long may it continue indeed, Khalil. I want to thank you for joining us this morning on Independence Day. Here's hoping that you enjoy whatever activities you're going to be doing, and that you take that pride not only here, now we're a republic, but throughout your life. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, and a happy independence to you and every single viewer.
Thank you so much. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Barbados. We will be speaking to His Excellency Chad Blackman, who is Barbados's ambassador to the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. We'll be talking to him about his perspectives on the Republic status. Good morning to you, Ambassador.
Good morning, Wendy, and happy independence to you.
Happy Independence to you too, and I'm happy to see you're representing all the way.
Of course.
We all need to. Yes, we have to be patriotic. Now, in terms of that level of patriotism and where we stand now as a republic, have you found yourself having to defend our position and our transition to our Republican status?
Well, I can assure you and the viewers is actually to the contrary. Every person that I speak to from outside of Barbados, whether it be ambassadors or just citizens from around the world, there is an incredibly strong sense of happiness for Barbados for a number of reasons. One, it shows and signals the maturation of our democracy and our people, but also it says to the world that a small country, having proven itself for 55 years since 1966, it can now take a further leap in managing our affairs entirely. And that really is something that we as Barbadians have to be proud about. When you speak in the diplomatic community here, countries have often asked, why has it taken so long to do so? So to the contrary, we've not had to defend it. But actually other countries have joined in us and are very, very happy and pleased for the leadership that we've been able to display through Prime Minister Mornin taking this very bold step, leading us into Republican status.
That's most commendable that people are actually on board with us because, you know, within home, we have had little pockets of dissent, not large scale, but a few pockets of dissent. And I think one of the areas that people are most concerned about is whether or not the move away from the crown will cause major disruption to us as a trading nation. How will it disrupt our processes in terms of our bilateral relations? Do you see disruption there?
Not at all. The status quo remains. We have not severed ties with a trade partner in any way at all. We still continue to trade in goods and services with the UK and the rest of the world. What has simply happened is that Barbados now has as its head of state a Barbadian. You see? Now let's put it also in practical terms. I'll give you a very real example from the diplomatic point of view. A few months ago, I would have presented credentials to two additional countries, Serbia and to Austria, okay? And the process and the protocol is that I presented the credentials to the head of state, the presidents of those countries, and literally I stated that I greet them in the name of Queen Elizabeth II. That was the protocol. As of now, any ambassador or diplomat presenting credentials from Barbados to another state will do so in the name of President Sandra Mays. Now, I cannot tell you the pride that I feel having to wake up this morning where our head of state is a woman, our head of government is a woman, and in a modern Barbados, in the global league of nations, as it were, the community of nations, this is part of the maturation of a modern state. So one, trade will not be disrupted. Bilateral trade ties will not be cut at all. But it is simply that we now have a Barbadian head of state. And there are a number of other things, of course, that you would have seen have changed. For example, the name of our police would have changed. So domestically, there are a number of changes, but internationally, diplomatic relations will still continue. And let's face it, Barbados and the United Kingdom have strong relations, very, very strong relations, and that will continue to be so.
Okay, and you wouldn't foresee any fallout either from any of the European countries, because I think we still remain a member of the Commonwealth?
Yeah, we still remain a member of the Commonwealth, and that relationship, going the route of being a Republican country, as it were now, will not bear any negative consequence in terms of our trading partners, whether it be with the United Kingdom or other nations. It's simply now that Barbados has as its head of state one of our own citizens leading our country as the head of state. We have our head of state leading us in a way. Before, of course, the head of state was represented from the United Kingdom. But in terms of our diplomatic relations or trading relations and partnerships, nothing will change. I can give my fellow Barbadians that assurance. Nothing of the sort will take place. I've also heard sometimes people say, well, if you go in that direction, issues relative to visas, no, the relationship still remains the same. Still remains the same.
Right, because that was going to be the next area I was coming to you on, the issue of our movement within those countries and where we go. So if that's still good, we're happy about that. Now, in terms of looking at us as the Republic, there are many who were thinking that things like our flag would have changed and the trident would have gone. We have our new colors that have been consecrated and so on. What new protocols, say, would you as an ambassador now have to play out from a Barbados perspective as opposed to any other country? Because we know a lot of the protocols before were tied to the crown and how we performed various duties. How are your day-to-day protocol arrangements going to change now we're a republic?
Well, I can tell you largely, again, they remain the same, but I give you a very real and tangible example. What certainly will change is, for example, when ambassadors present to new countries, to other states, we will now do so in the name of our president, and no longer in the name of the Queen of England. That is a fundamental shift based on the history that we've had relative to our diplomatic relations. But in other areas, we will continue to operate in the same manner. Bilateral engagements, multilateral engagements. It is the same Barbados. It is the same Barbados, simply now that we have our own head of state. So again, I really want to assure and to repeat to the public that and that's the thing about a democracy. You know, I must tell you, Wendy, is that in a democracy, many views will contend. And we live in the age where a lot of information that passes in the public airspace is not factual. But I can give you the facts. One, our head of state, as you know, is a Barbadian. Our diplomatic ties and relations will continue as they were before. Our trading relationships will continue as they were before. My responsibilities and other ambassadors and high commissioners that we have will continue to remain. The only difference is that this morning we are a republic. But in terms of all of the other traditional areas of engagement, they continue to be as they were before. So the status quo in that regard continues to remain. But the opportunity is there, though, for us to continue to now, in this second leg of our post-independence reality, because of course between 1966 and up to yesterday we were in a different system, and now we are a republic. But we have to now look at to see what are some of the new ideas that we want to pursue as a country. What is the new Barbados going to look like? How do we engage with other developing countries in terms of building our trade ties, whether that be in Africa, whether that be in Latin America, also our Caribbean brothers and sisters, Asia. And these are the opportunities that we have to now think about as a republic. What does the new Barbados want? How are we going to pursue these goals? What partnerships are we going to look to build out to ensure that our young people, those born and unborn, have a place in the world, and ensuring that we are one of the smallest countries, but a country that, as Kofi Annan said, continues to punch above its weight. I was saying to some colleagues earlier that many of my colleagues have said that had they not looked on Google to see the size of Barbados, they would have thought that we were the size of a large continent. Why? Because our aspirations are not determined by our size. Our limitation must not be our geographical space. Our limitation must simply be our imagination. And that has to be the part of the DNA going forward even more of a new Barbados, in ensuring that whatever we want to pursue, whichever part of the world that we want to do so, that we have the confidence, the fortitude, the foresight, and the manner and the know-how of how to get there. Things will not always be perfect. You will not always necessarily achieve what you want in the time that you want. But the Barbadian legacy must be that there's nothing that can stop us. We've produced Cigar Fuel Sobers. We've produced Rihanna, both of whom now are our national heroes, okay? And there's so much that we can do as a country. Size must not be an inhibitor, but actually it must actually allow us to use it as a catapult into what we want to do. When you look at, for example, other countries like Singapore, they're just pretty much the size of Barbados with a very large GDP. But when you have the fortitude to aspire and to have a determination that you will move to another state of your development as a country, there's nothing that can stop you. And every Barbadian must now feel that sense of, okay, what's next? How do we get there? And how do we get there collectively, notwithstanding the differences we have in terms.
when we ask how we're going to get there, the other question will be, how do you then continue to take us forward at the diplomatic level? Because an idea may be birthed, we might have the impetus and all that for it there, but then we need persons like yourself to be able to seal that deal in terms of our multilateral relations.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think part of it has to be the continuation of working hand in hand with our capital. So, for example, working with the Prime Minister's office, working with the Ministry for Trade, and all of the different ministries that we're attached to. But also, more importantly, constantly evaluating and re-evaluating what are our priorities and what can we do to ensure that those priorities come to fruition through the multilateral space or bilateral space. And then when you add a second or a third tier to that, what are the international limitations, if any, that exist? Because, for example, there are many rules that may prohibit some of the things that we want to do. And that's when you negotiate, that's when you lobby, that's when you advocate, so that our priorities can also then fit firmly into both domestic realities and external realities. Because let's face it, part of our success story must also be the exportation of our ideas, our intellect, our goods and our services. Never must we believe that we must only produce goods and services for Barbados' consumption or regionally. That then brings us to another conversation. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I really want to say this before we go. Part of our comparative advantage in this new Barbados must be, in my view, that there are lots of problems in the world, but we have to be the country that has the intellect and the education, and which we do already, but putting it into seeing what out there can we produce as an idea, backed by intellectual property, that can serve the world, and making it uniquely Barbados, but serving that niche going forward. And that invariably, as I said, once we can master that, getting our young people to think in those terms. One, the revenue benefits that will accrue to Barbados will be there, the national confidence and pride, and it goes back to what the Prime Minister says all the time, that we must be a country of excellence in every single thing we do, whether it be music, culture, sports, tourism, business, you name it. So I think today is a good starting point for reflection, or continuation for reflection as a people, our Independence Day and our Republic Day. And what do we want the next 55 years, next 100 years to look like? Many of us will not be there, but part of our legacy must also be that we build foundations and bridges for our future generations to succeed. That must also be part of what we do as a country and in this new Barbados.
Okay, and Ambassador Bachman, we know that you are there helping to chart the way as we build that bridge and show the world the relevance of Barbados as a republic. I want to thank you for joining me so much. I want to wish you to continue to have a wonderful Independence and Republic Day. Thanks again for joining us on Morning Barbados.
Thank you.
Morning Barbados, we'll be right back.
Beautiful, beautiful Barbados. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back to Morning Barbados. We're now going to have the perspective of a Brit on the issue of breaking away from England. And I want to welcome to the program Lord Simon Woolley, the Right Honourable Baron Woolley of Woodford. Good morning to you, Lord Simon.
Good morning to you, and it's a pleasure to be on your program on this very historical, momentous day.
Yes, and you're happy to be here sharing in it.
I really am, on so many levels. One, my mother was born here in Barbados. Two, this is actually the first time that I've been to my ancestral home. It's a long story, and we perhaps don't have time for that. But I am deeply moved and honoured to share this moment with Bajans, both here and in the UK and beyond. And this is our time. It's a very special moment.
And the fact that a large grouping of our tourist revenue comes out of Britain. Do you see it impacting our tourism products?
I do, in a fantastically positive way. I think when you heard the speeches last night, people saw the depth of opportunities. This is a nation that is punching way above its weight, that wants to be global in its aspirations and its endeavors. And I think a good place to start is the UK. There are many Bajans there, entrepreneurs here that would like to do more business in the UK and in Europe. And I, as a British parliamentarian, want to push that in a very big way. I met with Invest Barbados yesterday. I also want to meet with the educationalists, the academics, such as Hilary Beckles, because I want that cultural and academic flow from Barbados to Cambridge, where I'm heading one of the colleges there. I just think this is a moment for us to really feel positive. I'm fortunate. I feel I have skin in both here in Barbados as my ancestral home, but also in the UK as a British citizen. And I want to turbocharge the possibilities that have opened up for us because of what happened last night.
Hear a bit more about this turbocharging and what are some of the key sectors that you want to speak of. You spoke to entrepreneurship, but we can make almost anything. We can create services in almost any area. What are some of the pivotal, critical areas that you see us launching off in?
Well, I think there's a kaleidoscope of products that ought to be on everyone's kitchen table. The spices, the sauces, the other myriad of products that people take for granted here that will be very welcome in homes in London and Manchester and Paris. So I think to see that as an opportunity. But as you said, there are other elements too. I think Barbados is in a good place to, if you like, transport its educational vigor and rigor across the Caribbean and beyond. You have a great model. I think it can be packaged. Medicine, I think here is a great place to say that people can invest here in Barbados on a myriad of projects. I mean, I think as the last speaker, Chad Blackman, said, it's that we're only shackled by the lack of our imagination. And if we have all the imagination and creativity, great things can happen.
You were here for a most auspicious occasion. What did it mean for you last night to witness that transition?
Well, you know, it was very moving for me, very emotional to come back to my ancestral home and to see it in a bold, energetic, forward-thinking light. I felt proud to have Barbadian blood, heritage, running through my veins. I was pleased with Prince Charles too. He spoke very passionately and eloquently about the uncomfortable truth of the dark past. Mm-hmm. But he also spoke energetically about our fantastic future. And of course, Prime Minister Mia Mottley is a hero globally. When she was in the UK just recently in Glasgow, her speech resonated across the world. And this small island, it's punching way above its weight and is inspiring not just Barbadians across the globe, but also other people too. They're looking at what's happening in this small island and saying, great things are occurring.
Okay. What are some of the general sentiments which have been coming your way about our break from England? What kind of word have you been getting from your colleagues in Parliament and general in the street from those in the diaspora?
Yes. I think one of excitement. Look, we've had a dark past here, but yesterday signaled our own voice. I mean, I say our own voice, I'm speaking like I'm a Barbadian, but I've got skin in the game. And so people back home are very proud. Caribbeans are very proud. I think many of them were saying, what will our country do next? I was pleased that the articulation for this republic is not that we're abandoning the UK, rejecting the UK. No, we want our own voice. It's our own voice now, but we can still be strong partners. The difference now is that the relationship has to be as grown-up countries on more equitable terms, but fantastic opportunities for everybody to excel in.
Because we're no longer Little England and we're not going to return to that position. We want our voices being heard at the table, and we have no intentions of being diminutive in any form or fashion. Now, in terms of some of the passion you've already expressed and the areas that you want to go forward with, tell me a little bit about, how optimistic you are given how some of your meetings went.
Very, very optimistic. The enthusiasm about the kaleidoscope of possibilities is palpable. I mean, people feel now that they can almost do anything. They can go anywhere. And I said that you've got to into business deals, into cultural exchanges. I'm hoping on this trip that I can speak with the head of the University of West Indies and begin conversations about cultural and educational exchanges. When I go back to Cambridge, where I work as the head of a Cambridge college, Homerton, that I want to say, we need Barbadians here to do research and then to go back home and they can then excel. We need Black Britons coming to the University of Barbados and doing wonderful things there. Cultural, educational, business exchanges. This is not a fact that if we win, they lose. If we win, everybody wins. The cake just gets bigger. And the conversations that I've been having with the business fraternity, with those in education, with those young men and women on the ground here, so to speak, in Barbados, it's a very, very exciting and historical moment. It's almost as though that Barbados is coming of age and ready to clearly punch way above its weight. And for me, to come here and witness it, to share in it, to be a part of it, is very special.
And I'm glad that you are having that special moment. Now, you're here on business and you're here to be part of this political process. But have you had an opportunity to get any other insights of Barbados? Have you seen anywhere? Have you sampled any of our dishes? What are you enjoying so far about our country?
Well, I'm enjoying the beach, I'm not going to lie. But today's going to be a very poignant day for me because I'm going to the National Archives to see my mother's lineage. It's going to be emotional, I'm not going to lie, but one that I want to see and feel. And I'll be joined at some point after that to meet with His Royal Highness Prince Charles and hopefully the Prime Minister Mir Motley. Last night I had dinner with Prince Charles and the High Commissioner here. And around that dinner table before the ceremony last night, there was such enthusiasm. So on a personal journey, for someone like me to come from the UK and to sample the foods, as you say, the smells, to dance in the rain,
Oh, you enjoyed our showers of blessings yesterday.
Yes, warm rain. I mean, you know, you have to you have to be here to feel it, to get those senses and smells. And I should take them back to England and tell everybody, listen, your first choice of holiday has to be the sunny climes of Barbados.
Yes,
I'm your new ambassador.
I'm glad, Lord Simon, that you will be pushing us as a destination. Lots of Brits know all about us, but the more the merrier. And we want to help them celebrate, have them enjoy Barbados, but we also want to be able to stand on firm ground, knowing that we are independent and we are a republic and we no longer have those colonial ties. Because one of the things you spoke to in terms of going into the archive, for some people, creates a pain and a hurt that you can't get away from, because we all know what our ancestry was. Now, that also is an area that speaks to connecting us. If we can have people who are interested in genealogy coming and, you know, searching and relating to where their history lies.
It's very important. And the thing is, this is not just about me. This is also, in part, the history of the UK, of how the UK built its institutions on exploitation and stealing resources. That too many Britons don't know their own history. So I feel it's incumbent upon me as a parliamentarian to let Britons know. And of course, there's those big questions about reparations. And my view, it simply is, we need to have the conversation. We need to have how the UK enriched itself on the backs of Barbadians. It's not as though Barbadians are bitter, but it's a part of our history. And once everybody knows it, then we can ensure that we learn fantastically from it, but also think about how we reconstruct our institutions to make them more equitable, how trade can be more open to small island countries like Barbados. I don't think we can do that until we fully know what happened in the past. We learn from the past to build a better future. Me going to the archives is both personal, political, and professional. And I hope to be taking some of those lessons back and some of those stories back to the UK for everyone to learn from.
I'm happy to hear that. And I want to thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. It's a very packed trip for you and an engaging one, but I want to thank you for agreeing to be here with us on Morning Barbados today. And thanks also for coming. And I'm sure that you will enjoy it, even though as short as it is, and that you will be back in short order.
I will be back. I will be back. That is a promise. And I look forward to chatting with you again.
Yes, I want to thank you so much, Lord Simon, and do have a brilliant day and happy independence, and enjoy it with us as we are now Barbados a Republic. Do have an awesome morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was Lord Simon Woolley, the Right Honourable Baron Woolley of Woodford. Morning Barbados will return.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back to Morning Barbados. Now, as Lord Simon says, there continues to be harmony between Barbados and Britain. And some of our musicians have actually decided to use their skills and talents to show that that is where we are. He mentioned there's no animosity, and there isn't. We continue to share with Britain, we continue to trade, we continue to do what we have to do on all levels. And we have a song called Sing in Harmony, which was done by Melinda Hughes, a multi-talented artist who spent most of the 2021 season in Barbados due to the pandemic. And she has aligned herself with Cultural Ambassador Stetson Red Plastic Bag Wilshire, who will receive another honor this morning. And they've come together to do a song. It highlights things that are Barbadian, that help to show us and usher in our transition. Let's now see Sing in Harmony.
We've had a really long affair for more than 50 years, and now changes in the air. Come wipe away your tears. Will you still love me? Yes, I will. Can I still visit till you are as old as the hill? When we are the ROB, we'll sing in harmony. As long as me and our PB can sing in harmony. Whatever you choose is fine with me. We'll sing in harmony. The future's bright for you and me when we sing in harmony. RPB, I'm so excited. I'm gonna take out my maracas.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Not those maracas. These maracas. We will roast the breadfruit and drink beer rum. We can walk around in the sun. We can dance to the soca rhythm. Together we'll have fun. Talking of soca, I'm really good at walking up.
Oh dear now, oh dear.
No, I am, look. When we are the ROB, we'll sing in harmony. As long as me and our PB can sing in harmony. Whatever you choose is fine with me. We'll sing in harmony. The future's bright for you and me. We'll sing in harmony. Life is fun for you and me. Let's sing in harmony. Life is fun for you and me. Let's sing in harmony. Life is fun for you and me. Let's sing in harmony. Life is fun for you and me. Let's sing in harmony.
That's great. And hold, keep it holding. That's great. And cut.
Our own Red Plastic Bag in a totally different vein than we're accustomed to having him in, but showing that the ties between Barbados and Britain will continue, but just not under the crown. Now, that song would have been written by Miss Melinda Hughes and the Red Plastic Bag, and she will be a guest tomorrow morning with Pearson right here on Morning Barbados to tell you all about that production. Now, when we are speaking of production, we have had quite a few taking us on this road to the transition. We have seen Barbados's talent front and center, and we have enjoyed every single minute of it, whether it was the the police service band, or whether it was the Defense Force band, whether it was Israel Lovell Foundation, all of the other dancers, we had puppets, we had a host of talent, song, and delight as we ushered in that new moment into our republic. One of the other things we had was fireworks. And you know there's nothing that a Bajan loves more than fireworks. There would have been 3 sets, 3 stations across the island. We would have gone to the East Coast, we would have been on the north, and we would also have been in the St. Philip area, as well as St. Lucie, and I believe the other area was St. Joseph. So while the Dame Sandra, Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Barbados, was being inaugurated and sworn in, we had fireworks going off at different points across the island. And Morning Barbados is going to leave you now with the sights and sounds of those fireworks. We thank you for tuning in with us here this morning. Independence Day, happy 55th to all of you. And here's to us becoming a republic. 3 cheers to Barbados. Here now are our fireworks. Have a good morning.